What's up, everyone? We are the Sequel Seekers, back with another podcast. My name is Chris.
My name is Adam.
And I'm Maria.
That's Maria.
It's Robin. Hello.
Yeah, we're going to call him Maria now because it's topical.
That's my name.
Reason it's topical is because we're talking about Sonic. Specifically, we're going to be talking today about Sonic Forces. It's the newest Sonic game that has come out. It came out just a few months ago. We played it on our channel, and if you're interested to see our gameplay of it, definitely check out the videos. You can find them by following the links below, and there's a whole playlist. We've also played other Sonic games like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic Adventure 2. You can check those out as well. But today, we will be focusing on Sonic Forces, just talking about what we thought about it, some specific parts, going in depth on the characters, the mechanics, that sort of thing. So that game is relatively new, and it's come out in an era where Sonic games have kind of been a little bit shakily received, I guess, or at least the last few installments, right?
Definitely. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, most of the time when Sonic fans think of the best games, they're thinking about old ones. Even like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are they have mixed reviews. Most of the time people think of the old 2D Sonics as the best. I mean, you could look at Sonic Mania, which also just recently came out, and that got really good reviews.
Yeah, and that was one of those 2D style games too that kind of called back to the early Sega days in the 90s when the games were first coming out. What kind of impressions did you guys have about Sonic Forces once you saw it was announced?
I was skeptical. I was excited because I loved the Sonic series. I played Sonic Generations, which was a great game. I played some of the older Sonics on like the old Sega consoles and things like that. I was skeptical mostly because of the recent trends with the 3D Sonic games like Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Knights, Sonic and the Lost Rings. They were all kind of like...
Those were all kind of sketchy.
they were all just games, you know. And so I was like, I'm like excited.
Games of you shipped it.
Yeah.
Games of it went gold at some point.
So
not really stellar.
But I did see the character creation thing, and I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know anything about Sonic Forces. I knew it was coming out, a while ago. I knew it was coming out, but when I learned that they had a create a character thing, it was like finally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, all the Sonic fanfic and all that stuff. It's it's a big meme.
Yeah, exactly.
And we would like to encourage you, if you are listening today, to currently go to Google, type in your name, and then type the Hedgehog after it, and you will get some absolute gold findings.
Turn on Safe Search.
Turn on Safe Search.
Leave that off. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
You could, I'm honestly in the same boat as Adam. I had no idea about what this game was. Yeah. I knew it was coming out, and I heard you could make your own Sonic OC. There was another Sonic game that had come out. It was like an unofficial fan game. It was like Sonic Dream Worlds or something like that.
Oh,
it was
I heard about that. I never heard about it. I know nothing about it though.
It was like a weird modded it was kind of like a weird modded thing, and it was just like this trippy nonsense, and you could make your own Sonic OC in it, which was kind of. Yeah. But it was it wasn't official in any way. It was just kind of a weird fan project. This official Sonic character creator made me excited because now you get to have your guy stand next to Sonic and see what that would actually be like.
I do want to say, though, they did not pick the best character to make for the actual commercials because they could have done a lot.
Especially it was like the Fox guy, right?
It was like a fox with glasses and a headset.
Yeah.
Like a gamer headset. And I was like, you could have done better, Sega, and I understand that that's sort of when you first start the game, that's the base you're gonna get, and so it sort of keeps the expectations a little lower for the start of the game. But once you get into it, I mean, if you watch our playthrough, we made a masterpiece.
Yeah, they should have had our Golden Knight.
Yeah,
the cover
be on the game cover.
Would have been so dank.
Take note, Sega. Take note. But, so, the character creation. I mean, I expected, I think, a little more.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. They had, there was fox, a rabbit, a bunny, a hedgehog, obviously.
Right.
There were a few different races, and then you could pick from one of 3 hair styles, I want to say, a few different eyes.
Yeah, the initial body customization was kind of right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot. You could have crazy eyes. That was neat.
The eyes were good.
Mostly it was like the apparel that was the actual.
I think that the
customization.
initial customization piece was just to lead into you getting to the actual game.
Yeah.
They just wanted you to put something together so that they could put it in and have you play as it. And that's kind of what that was the impressive piece for me in terms of the character creator, was that they managed to build the game around the idea that you would have your own character to play in the game.
Right.
So in terms of what your character did in the game itself, there was a lot that happened around them in terms of what the story that they were trying to tell was, how you interacted with the sort of the enemies that you saw, and also, like, we can talk about this later too, is like the way that you actually played had a lot to do with the fact that you had made your own character.
Yeah.
But in terms of the story itself, them including that, it really played a huge role in what they wanted, in what they were presenting. It really played a huge role in how they presented the game and what they wanted to accomplish for the story of it.
Yeah, it was more than just like another Sonic story or whatever. It was supposed to be
definitely.
your story in the world of Sonic, right?
And that's a very, very smart move on Sega's part, because as we mentioned before, you go type in any name and the Hedgehog, and you'll end up with, you know, a bunch of like fanfics and origin stories, and
The fans like their Sonification.
they
Yeah.
do
Themselves.
and so that was very smart on their part, and for their first kind of character creation thing, it was good. It was good, and we definitely we enjoyed it quite a lot. Maybe they should narrow down the color palette a little bit more,
Yeah,
as we
maybe.
witnessed.
They need more options to make it more ridiculous. I wanted our thing to be like a Big the Cat. Just like a big round thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can only be skinny, like, turkey people.
Yeah, and that's all of them. And it's funny because they use that to also create the background characters as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the, like, duplicated, like, side characters.
Yeah, in the big fight scene. Oh, it's plot spoilers. Big fight scene. At
There's
the
a
end.
big fight scene. Spoilers.
It's a lot of repeated
It's just
allies.
the same model just repeated over and
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. It is cool how they made your character, like, the main focus, though, for the most part, right? For the plot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of the times in these games when you create a character, you're... Like, the story is built around you, but it's not, like, with other notable characters. It's normally just, like in an RPG or something like that, you're just character X or whatever, and the story's based around you. But instead, this is still based around the Sonic team.
Right.
But you're also there. You're
it
like a new
includes you.
member.
Right.
Which I think probably a lot of the Sonic fans are like, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, nice.
They were probably very behind it.
Get to hang out with Knuckles.
Yeah. And the reason that you were so prominent in it is because, like, the whole point of the game is that the game starts with Sonic getting defeated by the new bad guy, Infinite.
The new Edge.
He's so edgy. Infinite is working with Eggman to try and take over the world, and you have to stop them. They've beaten Sonic, and you now have to stop Eggman and Infinite from taking over the world. And there's like all kinds of convoluted stuff that happen with alternate realities, but that's kind of
Is there?
aside. Yeah. The whole point of the Phantom Ruby is that Infinite controls reality.
I thought it was just like he created one alternate reality that everyone was in, and he went to destroy.
It was like he made his own reality that he could control, like free of his will or something. And he was trying to bring everybody else into it or something like
He
that.
brought everyone else into it to kill them, and then
Yeah.
they would no longer be.
And then
in
they could have
regular
the real
reality.
world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was making like a prison reality
Yeah.
where he could put everybody.
That's not super convoluted though. It could have been way worse.
It could have been.
It could have been way
Bioshock.
And
worse.
thank God it wasn't,
There
because
could
I
have been
was
time
not.
travel.
We're not going there, Adam. We're not.
Plus,
flash-
I mean, there's also the alternate reality of 2D Sonic, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
hardly explained.
Well, like if you had played Sonic Mania, you would have known why 2D Sonic was in this game because.
Like, kind of. Even that's not even.
But
that
it's not even that
explained.
clear because there's no like text crawl or any dialogue or anything in Sonic Mania. There's the ending sequence of it, and then Sonic Forces happens, and that's how you're supposed to know what's going
Well,
on.
it's a very simple explanation, and that's that Sega created the plot rubies
Yes.
to create plot in the
Previously,
game.
the plot Chaos Emeralds.
Hey, no, those aren't plot. Well, they are plot devices, but they're not like plot.
Now
solutions.
there's only rubies instead of emeralds.
You know what? I don't know what happened. To
Next
the
will be
emeralds.
sapphires.
Yeah,
The emeralds were replaced by friendship in this game. Basically,
friendship
There's always
barrels.
friendship.
friendship.
Friendship gems.
But
Yeah, I mean, like, even at the start when 2D Sonic shows up, Tails is like, what are you doing here?
yeah.
And he was just like, because he can't talk.
He can't talk. He literally shrugged.
He was just like, I don't know, I'm here now. Let's kill Eggman.
Not kill him, just beat him up. Just hit him a few times.
Hit him a few times.
What did he even do in the plot?
He blew up the egg space station.
But, like, why him?
Because the egg space station is only in 2 dimensions. It's actually just a circle in the sky. It's not actually
Really?
a sphere. Shut
Okay.
up. Just go. with
Eggman
him.
had 2D technology.
Just ignore the weird plot points.
I don't know, 2D Sonic literally didn't need to exist in this game.
Well, no.
Okay, I guess he existed so they could add the 2D elements.
But
of
here's the thing:
gameplay, right?
if you hadn't had 2D Sonic, yes, they probably played up on the Sonic Mania hype and added the 2D levels. But if you hadn't had, if he wasn't a playable thing in the game, you would have either had to have just your character and Sonic, which I feel like would be a little bland because they're kind of the same level in the game, or you would have had to add another character to kind of like change things up a little bit, and at that point, kind of like, where do you stop? You know, if you throw in Knuckles, people want to play as Tails, or if you throw in the Silver, people want to play as Shadow, and you could in the DLC, but I'm talking about like the main campaign.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
the addition of the 2D Sonic enabled them not to throw in all these other characters.
That is true, but like the 2D Sonic levels aren't really special to a character, I don't think, right? Like, for example, Knuckles flies around, or he glides and he digs and punches stuff.
Right.
That's like unique to Knuckles.
Right.
Whereas 2D Sonic is just a platformer. Like, you could have any character.
Dude.
I mean, you have like Sonic and Knuckles, like the old game. They were both on a
Yeah.
2D platform.
Oh, yeah.
right?
that's
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was Sonic
Yeah.
and Tails, and they both happened on a 2D platform.
Yeah, like
thing.
adding 2D Sonic into the game isn't really like necessary for that mechanic to exist.
Yeah,
Right.
or for
Yeah.
really the story.
I mean,
But I do think they were adding him in just because, Sonic Mania.
well, yeah.
It'd be like, hey, look, it's more Sonic Mania, but it was way worse.
I mean, that's probably the real reason. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you like to think it's because brain farts. Because brain farts.
I mean, I like the idea of having multiple game types.
Oh,
Like levels, right?
I don't know what I was gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, multiple game types, but also your character is then on par with both Sonics. And if you threw in Knuckles, your character would be sort of like on par with Sonic and Knuckles. But I feel like people, when they create their OCs, are like, yeah, I'm as good as Sonic. 5-star speed.
That is true.
I'm faster than Sonic is actually Speed God.
Yeah, their Sonic personas can go to Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah. So
Right.
it's like you want them to be on par with sort of the main with Sonic.
Yeah.
is true, yeah.
And that way, when you introduce things like Infinite in terms of like an enemy, you know from the intro, Infinite, you have like a Worf effect of now you know how strong Infinite is because your guy is on equal footing with Sonic.
Yeah.
Infinite kicks Sonic's ass, so now you know you're up against somebody that means business. But I want to talk about Infinite for a second because boy is he dumb, and I love it.
What a
You
great
have
character.
1 second on the floor. Please make your point.
He's stupid, and I love it. And like,
concise.
yeah, and I just think he had this shitty backstory, and his entire character is just I lost, so I want to kill everyone, or I want
he got
revenge.
took
Kicked
one-
in the face by Shadow.
And then now
mad.
yeah, and then Eggman gave him the Phantom Ruby, and now he's trying to kill everybody.
Yeah.
And like that's the entire thing. In anything else other than Sonic, that is the absolute worst thing ever.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
It's fine in Sonic because whatever, everything's dumb in Sonic, right? Every game that like involves Sonic is just someone's gonna blow up the world or take it over or something. There's always some big villain.
Well,
This
yeah.
time instead of like Chaos, it was Edgy Face number 16.
It's but like instead of Chaos, instead of what was King Arthur from Sonic Knights,
Yeah, okay, that
instead
was
of
pretty bad.
the evil genie from Sonic Rings, instead of that evil entity number 2 from Sonic Unleashed in the middle of the planet. It's always like Eggman and evil entity.
Yeah, at least Eggman existed. Right. I do like him as a recurring villain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point, right?
He's janky.
Because he's just like vaguely nefarious to the point
Yeah.
where you need to stop him, but he doesn't actually do anything. Like
He doesn't have
we
real
played-
plans. He
we
just wants to
played
be
Sonic
evil.
Adventure 2, and we got through the whole game, and we were just like, yeah, he's Eggman. And then all of a sudden, there's this scene where he's on the bridge of the Ark, and he whips out a gigantic gun and points it straight at Amy Rose's head.
gets
And
real as fuck.
We're
Like, holy
like, oh my god, Eggman, this is the most legit you've ever been in your life.
Also-
And then he tricks Tails into telling him that the Chaos Emerald was fake.
Yeah.
With like some Jedi mind trick shit. We were like losing our minds because of how cool that was.
And
He was
then he-
actually evil for a second.
And then he almost kills Sonic just outright.
Yeah, he
Almost
literally
dies.
just tries blowing him up in space, like, and then we team up with them.
Yeah, I team up with them. But I also just
to stop
realized,
the giant space lizard.
bit of a side rant. If you watch our gameplay, I forget which episode, but it's a later one. We take Eggman through the Chow Gardens and realize that his walk is ridiculous.
It's so
I
funny.
just realized
It's
it's
like-
only like that because he's always in a mech and never uses his legs. He has leg atrophy.
How does he fit those long legs into his little Eggman mobile?
he sits cross-legged.
His legs just go up over his
They're like
shoulders.
they're like
There's straps.
They're his
pre-
seatbelt.
Yeah, he does have little suspenders. No, but they're like prehensile and they coil up like snakes underneath him.
That's disgusting. Although it would explain his stupid walk, though.
Yeah.
That is true.
But we digress.
We
Yeah, that's
digress.
basically the extent of the plot, right?
Yeah, more-
Evil guy, Eggman,
And then Edgelord.
and world domination.
Yeah, that's basically the whole entire.
And then the
plot.
main edgelord isn't even the main boss at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't really know like what the main boss confused us. We watched like cutscenes from it over and over again in like gameplay, and we were like, okay, wait, what happens? Because Infinite goes away, he gets sucked into something we don't really know.
We beat him.
We beat him.
ambiguously beat.
We beat him and he vanished.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't know where he went.
Right. So then Eggman comes up. He's like, duped ya. This is the real power source in giant robot,
Yeah, big
basically.
robot.
Yeah, big robot number 5.
Infinite was just a decoy. It's really this giant tentacle robot I have.
Yeah, but like, was he a decoy? No, that was his original. Maybe he had 2 Phantom Rubies. I don't know. So then you beat him, and then out of this weird little sphincter thing, because if you watch it, it looks like a sphincter.
It's just an asshole.
It's a mecha sphincter.
It's a mecha sphincter. Basically, if you've ever seen The Matrix, those little like alien robot things, it's one of those pops out, and then you fight that,
And then you go into an alternate dimension in outer space, infinite running
Yeah.
platform, and it shoots lasers at you until you you dent its face in
Yeah.
with your.
No, you
body.
punch a hole straight through it.
Yeah.
You murk that thing. But it's not infinite. The mech has nothing, we don't think, because there's no visual connection or plot reference to the connection between Infinite and that robot that pops out of the robo-sphincter.
We tried figuring it out.
We tried.
Well, I don't think
real
we didn't
hard.
really
It-
succeed.
It didn't work out whatsoever.
Which, I mean, should speak to the game, right? I mean, you can't
Yeah.
figure out if this is like the real boss or.
I think.
No.
Here's what I think about the game, kind of building off of that. I think that game's story was an absolute wreck. It just like.
Yeah.
It was so all over the place, and I think part of that was because the way they told it, or the way that Sonic games tell story, is through level set pieces.
Yeah.
And you in this game you jumped between 3 separate characters with different set pieces, and there was an entire cast of characters. All of Team Sonic, Team Shadow, Team Chaotix was there too, just in the background, talking in text bubbles that would just appear on your screen.
Half the time there was cutscenes, and the other half it was just flat
And, like,
text.
We maybe it was the nature of what we were doing, but we didn't get anything out of those text
It was kind of hard
crawls.
to
It
follow.
was a little hard to follow. And just I think that bouncing between the different play styles, even though there were just 3, right? 2D Sonic, 3D Sonic, and your character, which was a combination of 2D and 3D.
Right.
Bouncing between those made it difficult to follow the story, but I think it could have been worse if your character, your created character, wasn't there because of what Robin was saying earlier. If one of those elements is missing, who do you bring in, and where do you then stop with what other
Yeah.
characters? Because obviously there's an enormous cast of characters that
Yeah,
you could
they
have
have
added.
them all in this game. Mm-hmm. So it's like, who do you choose? Knuckles, Tails, Vex?
Here's the thing about that. If you removed your playable character, you'd be playing Sonic Generations 2. Basically,
Yeah.
because you have
That's
3D
true.
Sonic and 2D Sonic, and I don't think Sega would want to do that again.
Yeah. And I guess they were trying to bring in a new Sonic mechanic, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
with the Wispins.
Wispin
Oh, yeah.
Right,
was your tool.
because like they already have the general mechanics of like all of the cast because they've been in various games.
Right.
Like Knuckles flies around and punches shit, but like the whole Wispin idea was, I guess, new. It was.
It was pretty new.
It was. Yeah, I mean, it was new, but it was kind of like that was kind of weird, right?
I liked it. I mean, Sonic Colors sort of had the same type of thing where, so the Wispin is your like weapon. You have like a
It's like a light
Yeah.
beam whip,
you have like a
but
cable,
it changes.
and then
It's-
for like your homing attack, and then you have like this special power item.
elemental power item.
Kind of, yeah. But they're sort of like the color blobs from Sonic Colors, to where when you collect one, you get a different ability.
Right.
I feel like they kind of did that with it. So there's like one where you have like a lightning whip, aka the best one. There's one where you have a flamethrower, aka the second best one, and then you have
The
drill.
rest.
Well, you have the drill, which we thought was really cool but useless.
Yeah, the drill was basically a Knuckles mechanic, just put into your character, but it
Yeah.
didn't do anything useful.
Yeah,
no, it just looked
you
really
could
cool.
drill into walls for nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
And, then there was
like,
there was the block one that we never touched because it sounded like the absolute
yeah, it
most
just
useless.
didn't
made a
sound
block,
good.
right?
Didn't sound
It
good.
put a block in midair and you could then jump off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, maybe it would be cool for, like, speedrun strats or something. Maybe you could put it somewhere and you can skip a part. But,
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I mean, for the most part, the levels are pretty linear.
Yeah,
So
they-
I don't see...
They were very, very railed. I mean,
Yeah.
with the inclusion of the push to win, there
Yeah.
there was a boost mechanic that you push whichever button and you just kind of fly through the
Square.
level.
Yeah, you
Square.
push square and you fly through everything.
Yeah.
Murking all the bad
You
guys.
yeah.
break every bad guy. You just push past the level. You can push it in midair, skip a whole bunch of the level.
Yeah, we'd use it on like those slide areas, remember? And you could just, because you start from the top and the slide goes down, and if you use it, you just go straight. You
Yeah.
just fly over the entire like slide level.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they based that off in Sonic Generations, and I may have missed a game somewhere in there, but in Sonic Generations there was that mechanic. There was this push to boost button, but it wasn't that fast, and the levels weren't on rails that hard.
Yeah.
So I think it was better in that game. I didn't really like it in this game. It was cool to use it, but not rely
Yeah, I mean,
on
it was one of those things where it was like, it was put in mainly for the cool factor, right?
Yeah.
You just push a button and you're like, whoa, I'm super or
Yeah,
something.
you're so fast.
I'm so fast, everyone's dying to my turbulence.
I felt
But like,
turbulent.
it didn't really do anything for the game besides that.
I felt very turbulent pushing that button. It was. I was a fan of it, but in moderation. AKA, they should have not let you use it as much. They should have
Yeah.
had a smaller meter and not able to recharge it as easily.
Yeah, I mean, they could have put things in the game that like challenging sections that would be nice to save that for.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there are more difficult areas where you'd want to use it for, but like, it's never really explicitly outlined.
Yeah, it's never really clear what part of the game was meant to be challenging in comparison to another, because there were options for you to get through everything comfortably. I remember kind of near the end there was one part where I think it was you were playing, where you had to like, they introduced a wall bounce mechanic with literally 2 levels left, and you
Oh,
would jump
yeah.
back and forth
Oh,
across
yeah.
the walls, and
And
you kept dying
just
because
kept
of
dying.
there was like a wall, there was like a bar of death that followed you as you were running around in
Yeah.
a circle. Like, that was really the only thing that I thought you would have needed some kind of like turbo or boost for, you know? Like,
Yeah.
because like you could turbo yourself up that thing, because landing those jumps back and forth was tough. But like in the Sonic levels, you literally just turboed past everything, like anything that could be challenging. Any part of the level, you just press a button, you go past it.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Wispins with that same kind of idea, they should have made it so like each Wispin had a very, well, I guess like a more specific purpose to overcome a certain challenge that's present in like every level. Like there's like 4 or 5 Wispens or something like that.
One of
Yeah.
them, they kind of did that.
They
like,
kind of did it,
the
but not
elec-
with all of them. That's
the
thing.
electric one, it ran on a meter, but it did give you like the old school light dash where you
Yeah.
could just zip along the rings.
Exactly, like that.
The
Like,
fire one let you do like a midair bounce over and over as long as you had meter for it. But
if
like
they focused more on like having those be like more important, like for example, if they have those, like let's say there's 4 Wispens and each Wispen is associated with a certain challenge that's present in like every level. If you don't like challenge X or whatever, it's just too hard for you, then you can just equip the Wispen for that. Maybe challenge Y is harder for other people, they can equip the Wispen for that. But
Yeah.
it would make it so each Wispen actually feels like good.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just remembered something that goes along well with what you're saying about having, because what you're talking about is kind of like having divergent paths in the game,
Right.
Or like, which lends itself to replayability. But one thing that they did have in the game that I think they could have done more with in regards to this Wispen idea that you're having, the game has dailies.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot.
Do you
about
remember
dailies.
that? And
God.
doing the dailies unlocks more gear for your character creation.
Yeah.
If you complete the challenges, and it gives you medals and stuff like that. But like, none of the dailies had anything to do with the Wispens. It was all time trials and like collecting a certain number of rings and getting ranks, because it's like, you know, the E through A ranking, so E through S, I guess it was.
Yeah.
But there was nothing in the dailies that I remember about that involved the Wispens in any way. And having a divergent path with different Wispen qualities would have opened up more opportunities for dailies.
Yeah, true. I mean, granted, there could have been like those red coin collectibles. Mm-hmm. There might have been a few scattered throughout the levels that like certain Wispens did make it easier. Like for that block, for example, you know,
Yeah.
where you spawn a block and you can jump on it.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't apparent enough, right? We played through the whole game, and I didn't really remember any specific areas where it was like, oh, if we had X Wispen for this, we could do this, right? It was always like,
Right.
I'd just rather have the lightning whip,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah. The lightning whip
do
was,
everything else.
was kind of ridiculous. That was a little overpowered. I think it would have been super cool to have, you know, as you guys were saying, some sort of alternate path thing. At least
Yeah.
like a high, middle, and a low path, like in Sonic 2.
Sonic 2 had that.
There were, you know, you could really change up your path every single time. There was obviously an optimum path for
Yeah.
every person. You
Normally
know?
the harder path was like the fastest. Or like, there would be like harder sections, and if you complete that section perfectly, you get an easier path, right?
Yeah.
Which is normally like high up.
Yeah,
Most
and
of
so that would have been cool to have, like, you know, you need the light dash to get to a certain path. You need the
Fire bounce.
fire bounce to get to
Yeah.
a certain path. You need to use the blocks.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's how the blocks worked, we don't really know because we
Yeah.
never tried it because we were like,
Yeah, we might
no,
be
thank you.
completely off.
Or you have to drill through
I
a
think
block
it's-
to get a certain a special item, even like special gear that you can unlock in the
Yeah.
level, some sort of replayable value. And while there is that in the fact that you can play through the game with different Wispens, 2/3 of the levels are the same thing. They're all Sonic.
The main, like, I guess, difficulty of most of the levels is just the enemies, which were pretty forgettable. They were just kind of like whatever enemies,
I'm
but
sorry,
like,
what enemies? The ones the ones we blasted through like
They-
chunks.
but because they were the main enemy or the main like challenge, it was just you equip the lightning Wispin.
And kill all of them in a single button press.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, main challenge, you just use the thing to beat the main challenge, right?
Yeah.
If they spread out the challenges a little bit more, then you'd have more diversity with what you want to use as a Wispin. And I mean, the enemies, they must have like known that, right? That like the lightning wisp is the best because the enemies were pretty bland. Like I feel like they, in my opinion, I feel like they thought that people were going to gravitate towards the Wispin. So enemies weren't going to be alive for very long, so they didn't put extra time into making them very good.
That's
They
harsh.
Right?
That's real rough, man.
They were just generic little round spherical robot men.
Right.
And some of them had guns.
Yeah.
Like that was literally all it was.
I mean, that's kind of like, you gotta give it to Sega a little bit because that's Eggman. They're little egg robots.
Yeah, but I mean, even in like the old Sonic games, even like Sonic Adventure 2, there's like more unique enemies than just robot. I mean, most of them are just Robot X and Robot whatever, but I mean, if you look at like the 2D Sonics, I feel like there's some pretty unique enemies in those.
Oh, yeah.
For example, right?
Yeah,
there's
there
the
was
monkey.
the
There's
fist crab.
Yeah.
Oh, the fist grab.
Fist
The
Fuck
good old
that
fist-
guy.
Yeah, he was an ass. There was Scyther.
Yeah, there was
Those
this.
are
Oh my
awful.
god.
The enemies, as you can tell, are very like memorable from those games. But also, I feel like, you know, that was a platformer. And the thing with the enemies in the newer Sonics is they are also a tool to get to different areas, and therefore
Right.
I feel
True.
like they're supposed to be like beat them with numbers, kind of, you know. So it's like just throw a bunch of enemies at them, you'll get them, boys.
yeah. I mean, there are supposed to just be a bunch of henchmen.
Love
right?
Eggman.
Like, here's an airstrike of all my henchmen.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like one enemy that's like, what the hell even are you? You're Scyther.
Yeah.
How do I
So
beat you?
You just
You keep throwing shit at me. Stop.
You pray and you jump, as most things with the Sonic, with a 2D Sonic, which I thought was a little. It was a little weird in this game, the 2D Sonic.
Yeah, it didn't feel good.
No,
In comparison to
Older
Sonic,
Sonic.
2, which
Yeah.
we did play. That's
yeah,
my
we played
that's,
immediately after Sonic Forces. We played Sonic 2. Or Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
yeah.
And it was like, wow, this feels way better.
Yeah.
It just felt better as a platformer.
of course we did have some weird quirks because we got it for which system?
Oh, it was GameCube or PS2?
It was the PS2 version from the like Mega Collection Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a few quirks, but it definitely played, aka air level. It definitely played way better. There were a few things with like the not being able to stop the momentum so easily that caused us to go off platforms, but that was
Yeah.
still in Sonic Forces, I believe, to where your momentum carried
Yeah,
out. Maybe
there's-
just a little too much.
You've always been pretty slippery in Sonic games.
Soap
I mean, he's
shoes.
wearing soap shoes. But I mean, you could clearly tell that there was like slipperiness in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But like compared to Sonic Forces, it felt manageable,
Oh yeah,
right? Like in Sonic Forces, I mean, they even had that one passive that made it so when you land in Sonic Forces, you went like flying.
Well, yeah,
that was
there
supposed to be beneficial.
you get a speed boost,
Speed boost upon landing.
but that was
boost in the
definitely for the 3D levels. That was not meant for the 2D, and I think that's one of the reasons that the Wispins are so interchangeable is because you're supposed to be like, okay, well, there's a 2D level. I do not want a speed boost when I land because there
Yeah.
will be moving platforms, as opposed to in the 3D, when you jump over an obstacle, you lost your momentum so quickly, you just want to keep going fast.
It is true. The whole point of the 3D levels is to go fast. What was it called was it Sonic Generations?
Mock segments
Yeah,
is
mock
what they were
segments.
called. Those were introduced in Sonic the Hedgehog, known as Sonic 06.
Oh yeah.
And it was entire 3D segments that were dedicated to Sonic is just running in a straight line forward, and you have to dodge shit.
yeah, it's almost like there's multiple lanes.
Yeah.
And you're going from left lane to right lane, dodging stuff.
And they were present in part in the Sonic levels of Sonic Forces, but it was never to the extent where an entire stage of the game was put like that. You would get into
Yeah.
a Sonic level, and you would start in a mock segment, and then transition into a little bit more of a free form. But again, it was on rails, but it was a little more free form.
Yeah.
You're talking about Sonic Forces or Sonic Adventure 2?
Sonic
Forces.
Forces.
Yeah, and then after you get past the mock segment, you push the boost to win button.
And you just run through the entirety of the rest of the game.
That's a good time.
So basically, they're all mock segments with the push to win button.
The whole game can be mock if you try hard enough.
Speaking of pushing to win through levels, the game, while the mechanics may be a bit sketchy, I don't want to say it's sketchy because I did like the game. I thought the Wispins were good. I did like the mock button. I tried not to overuse it to make it more fun for myself, and the Wispins were a good mechanic, honestly, to give your
Good
character
idea, at least.
some powers.
Yeah, they're a good
You know?
idea.
Yeah.
For the game, I think the Wispins were a good idea.
For
Yeah.
okay, so we can sort of agree on that.
Conceptually.
Conceptually.
The game itself, as a game, was beautiful. The soundtrack, of course, your classic Sonic
Yeah.
butt rock, was
For sure.
awesome. The level design was cool. All the levels, when
They looked really nice.
they looked really nice.
very nice. I think some of them looked like really cool. Like I thought the city levels were awesome looking with the infinite shit in the background, the red
yeah.
cubes and stuff, and the giant robots. That shit was tight. But like,
Tell us
But I
how
mean-
you really feel.
I mean, it looked nice. It could have played a little better, but yeah, it looked nice.
I mean, like, I feel like there were sections when you used your boost and you'd go straight off the level. It happened.
Yeah, that too.
But that happened in all Sonic games.
I mean, at the very least, it wasn't like very frustrating to play, which I'm sure was their main goal, right?
I feel like it was only not frustrating because you could get back to where you were so quickly. You just push the button.
Yeah, true.
And then get to the point where you messed up.
I
not
think
do that, and then keep going.
Since they wanted this game, in my opinion, they obviously wanted this game to be marketed for the already Sonic fans, so they could use like their Sonic personas or whatever.
Right.
And then, so you don't want to be like getting bodied all day with your character, right?
Yeah.
So I think that they opted for a more like casual approach, in my opinion, right? Just to make it so it's like an easy, nice, relaxing experience.
Yeah.
Relaxing is the right word, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where it's supposed to be a difficult platformer.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Where you're really trying to get the speed into it. I mean, I thought it was pretty easy, but in the levels with your character, I didn't think it was as easy as the Sonic levels.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel like they probably did that because they wanted Sonic to feel really strong, right?
Oh God, I hope not.
Because he did basically just blow through all of his levels.
Yeah.
I don't really remember a Sonic segment that was difficult.
Yeah, I remember us beating Sonic segments. I remember
Immediately.
there was the boss fight with Infinite on that snake. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the first Infinite
The
fight, right?
cool Infinite fight.
the one cool one.
yeah,
His fights got worse as the game went on. Let me just say,
gotta
it started
step back
with you
from that.
it started you with on that snake, and you could rotate 360 degrees around the body of the snake, and he was throwing like reality stuff at you,
Reality
and
cubes.
you got to the end of the snake, and you had to jump and homing attack up to him and attack him or whatever, and you went back on. It was cool. Next fight with him was an Infinite Runner, and next fight with him was
It was the 2D one.
the
It was the 2D one.
Yeah.
one
That
with your
one was-
character.
It was okay,
No.
but it was like again, conceptually, I think it was okay because they did shoehorn maybe shoehorn's not the right word, but they put in a 2D segment for a boss, which I agree with. That's okay. There's
Right.
2D segments in the game. You might as well make a boss mechanic.
But the thing about that boss fight was it was disorienting.
Yeah.
So Infinite's whole thing is sort of reality warping, and his sort of attacks are like these weird, like a bunch of little cubes all at
Yeah.
once, and they form items and
cubes.
whatever. The problem is when you get hit by those little cube collectives, it sort of like warps reality to damage you, and that's sort of how he does damage. But it's what shows up on screen is like red, flashing, and wavy.
Yeah.
You lost track of your character.
I
in
know
those
so many times.
Every single time it happened, and every
Yep.
time you got hit, it was like 30 seconds of you being like, "Where the fuck am I?" You're just taking. You can hear the ring noise of all your shit getting blown up, and you're like, "Where the fuck?" And you just see the rings, and you're like, "I hope I grab one. Dang, I got one."
Yeah.
Ring. Well, there's all my rings again, and then it comes back, and you're like, "Oh, I was over on the other side of the screen from where like." That 2D boss fight was not super great in execution.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea to
very
have it
cool
there,
concept, yeah.
but it was not executed well. And then Infinite's third fight is just an infinite run, where you catch up to him, you hit him, but it's flat. It's flat, one plane, and it just goes in a straight line forever.
No,
It was
wasn't the
straight-
Metal Sonic boss fight?
Yeah, okay, that was before.
Oh wait, no,
There was-
those are the same boss fight. Those are the exact same boss fight. I'm sorry, I got them mixed up because with Metal Sonic you run on a flat plane toward him, dodging left to right. You hit him in the same exact way. They literally replaced the background and the model of Metal Sonic to Infinite.
Yeah.
Same scale, same like arm, leg motions,
Just a different model.
different model.
Yeah, it went from like a pretty cool Infinite boss to a less cool Infinite boss to Metal Sonic, who was kind of like a side boss anyway, so it was kind of like, I don't know, I was like, whatever. His boss fight can be kind of lame. It
This
doesn't
is a
matter.
cool
and then
cameo.
the last Infinite boss is just this shitty Metal Sonic one you just did.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on. I can't forgive that.
Absolutely not.
I can forgive the Metal Sonic one, please.
Yeah. But in terms of so that whole conversation stemmed from level design. And I think that there were ideas in there that were cool in terms of that. Like I was going to say that one where you're running around on the snake, that was awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
it was
that
cool.
was super cool.
It was like an upgraded mock segment, basically,
Yeah,
right?
more or less.
Instead of just going left and right, you went all around in a big old circle.
And like there were spots where they nailed it with that, when it felt good to play, and there were also spots where it didn't feel great. But I think that the point was all of them looked nice.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. They all looked really good.
Nice, you know? And I think that I think that's more Sonic than having like a compelling story or amazing characters. Because if you look back at how the series progressed from the beginning through now, the ones that people consistently say they enjoy had no definitive story. It was all about playing through the platforming levels, and it was the main design emphasis was put on, is this a cool level to play?
They wanted to put cool shit into the game.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It just started with what's cool. Big power plant level's pretty cool. A big casino level's cool. Let's put that in. Was there a casino level in Forces?
Yes, there was.
There was, right?
Yeah, we went back to that. Had a blast. That level was...
levels
Chris
are
was
the best.
playing that level, and he was just having, like, an absolute ball. That was so refreshing. Just to go in there and be like,
Sonic
let's just gamble, guys. Let's gamble all our rings away and hope we don't die. Sounds good.
Casino levels are the best.
Levels are always
awesome.
good. But I think the thing is, like, is it, in this day and age, you know, you were saying, like, they had no story back then, but do you think this game would have been better without the weird plot?
Would it be better with no plot than a bad plot? Like if they just focused entirely on mechanics, like in old Sonic games. I mean, old Sonic games, the whole plot was beat Eggman. Go through these cool-ass levels and beat Eggman.
Save the animals.
Yeah, and save the animals.
But like, that was with most. Although, even, like, the old Mega Man games, there still was, like...
it was a little bit more plot, but it was extended to, like, bad man made robots that you kill. And then you kill the bad
As
man.
opposed to bad man that made egg robots.
Yeah, wait, they both made robots.
They both
It's the
made
same
robots,
game.
guys. They're both blue superheroes who defeat bad guys with mustaches that made robots.
Wow, holy shit.
The difference is one is jump and shoot, and the other is gotta go fast.
The other ones slide around and fall off levels.
That pretty much.
I don't, like, in terms of the story, for Sonic Forces, I think that the story was necessary because it allowed the creative character to exist.
Yeah.
That is true.
Do you
like,
think that was, like, the main reason? Well, all the newer ones have stories, so I guess that can't be the only reason, but...
The creative character would feel less important if it was just like a free roam game or something like that, right? Like if there wasn't like a real plot.
Real danger.
Yeah, real danger. Where your creative character is actually like useful.
Real Maria.
A real Maria. They weren't like if they're useful to the Sonic cast, right? That was the whole point. The world was in danger and your guy saved them. If it was just like if you just took like Sonic Mania and then you allowed character customization, it wouldn't have like the same impact on the people who really like character customization.
No one
Being
likes customers.
created to spend money.
Not like the customers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do it.
I can
I
see
do know
that.
what you mean.
And the other thing is, I guess, now that I think about it, this day and age, not having a story in a game.
Yeah, that
Is
is true. Even 2D games or 2D platformer games have stories like Shovel Knight or
Shovel Knight, yeah, especially
Or,
with
Owlboy.
Owlboy. Owlboy
What's
had
the new one that just
Hat in Time?
Hat in Time? Oh no, that's 3D, isn't it?
Oh, no, that is a 3D platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it's supposed to be it's a better ukulele or ukulele. The ukulele, yeah.
But basically, yeah, in this day and age when even platformers have amazing stories, you can't really get away with that, I don't think.
Maybe that's another discussion for another time.
Shovel Knight? Shovel Knight. I'm talking about Shovel Knight.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
We're great games
Now we're
like
on the same page.
Shovel Knight and Owlboy, like, they were cool.
Yeah, they have unique stories at the very least.
We're not going into the dark zone. Not today. That's for a different podcast. But I just think that they kind of had to at least put something in. And honestly, for a Sonic game, plot was good.
It's alright, yeah.
For a Sonic game. We're not talking about for all games.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to frame most of our opinions from here on out because we can talk. I think we can talk about like overall now that we've played it, what do we think? You know, did we enjoy it? Did we think it was good, bad? What were its strengths and weaknesses? But like we're gonna have to frame this in the context of this is for Sonic.
Yeah.
Because if we start comparing it to other stuff, it's going to be like this was dog shit.
Right. Because like I mentioned before, this game seemed pretty obviously catered towards the already Sonic fans.
Exactly.
Whereas opposed to like Sonic Mania was for like the old Sonic fans who
Yeah.
probably aren't fans of the new Sonic
Yeah.
games. Right? So you have to think of all of this like game design in terms of, will the normal Sonic fan like it? So you have to think like, does a Sonic fan play for the plot or the mechanics? They probably play for the plot, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
ones that
For
would
the
be
most
around now, like modern
see the
Sonic
cool
fans,
guys.
they want to see Sonic be cool and beat the bad guy,
Yeah.
and do it in an awesome way.
Beat the edgiest of edges.
Yeah. The maximum edge, right?
The diamond
Beat
edge,
'em.
almost.
Ruby
Yeah,
edge.
the ruby edge.
Yeah, the Ruby Edge, and the older Sonic fans who wanted something 2D have already got their fix in Mania, which came out less than 3 months before Sonic Forces.
I think it was like 2 months.
Yeah, it was something like
right?
that. It had literally just come out, hot on the heels of Sonic Mania,
Yeah.
which revitalized a lot of people into the Sonic brand.
Yeah.
My tummy's rumbly.
Shut up,
I
Chris's
know,
tummy.
that came out of nowhere. But like,
Filled with gasoline.
shut up. I googled Chris the Hedgehog, and it was just a bunch of drawings of a guy inflating himself with gasoline. And I lost my shit because it was hilarious.
For 15 minutes, he lost it.
That's the Sonic fan base.
That's the
That's what we're
Sonic
talking
fan-
about.
Sonic fan base.
That guy loves plot. Let me tell you what.
Loves plot and loves gasoline.
There were 4. I kept scrolling down and seeing new ones.
That must be some hidden Sonic meme we don't know about.
It has to be.
Inflating yourself.
Impossible.
It has to
There's
be.
no Sonic meme we don't know about in this day and age.
True.
They're getting popular. That's the other weird thing is that you notice like a lot more Sonic stuff popping up recently. I feel like, or I've just been noticing it more.
I mean, you might have just been noticing it more, but there was like a dead point, right? Between like Sonic 06 and
There was a doldrums. After Sonic
yeah.
06 came out,
Sonic
the
06
brand
was
went into like kind of a doldrum where
well,
there-
because people left
They went into a
in the middle
coma.
of Sonic 06, right? Like a lot of the people from Sonic Team left, I think, or maybe it was just like a main designer or something like that. I forget. That's why Sonic 06 was really shitty, is because the team like had issues.
it fell
in the
apart
middle, yeah,
development.
like-
Poor Sonic
yeah.
team.
But yeah, I mean, there is more Sonic stuff now. It might just be because Mania and Forces came out like right next to each other.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Is that like I'd actually be curious how Sonic Forces did relative to Sonic Mania and relative to other Sonic games, because I feel like they really wanted to do this,
Yeah.
and because you guys kept saying that like this was sort of based toward the older Sonic fans, you know, the Sonic,
Mania,
the
right.
Sonic.
Sonic Mania was more for the people who enjoyed the 2D versions,
Right,
like
but I
the
mean-
old school. Sonic Forces, we said, was for existing fans.
Right.
So it was meant to be something that the people who have been enduring, I'll say the word enduring, the current 3D Sonic lineup from Sonic
Yeah.
06 forward, that doldrum period that we just covered, Sonic Forces was meant to be a love letter to them to invite them back with
Yeah.
promise.
If you liked Sonic Knights, you probably like Sonic Forces.
Yeah.
Sonic Knight's really that good.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying if you liked it.
You would come
But,
in for
like,
Sonic Forces.
But I think that they also really were trying to maybe attract some new people who had heard of Sonic, maybe seeing the memes, but like not really, because you know that's a bad part of the internet. But I digress. I feel like they were trying to attract some new people with some sort of new concepts, because I feel like a lot of people see Sonic, they're like, oh, it's another Sonic Go Forward, do fast and smash thing.
Yeah.
You know, with this, they're like, granted, based on the trailer, you know, I don't think they announced like the dailies, which is I think a really new thing for Sonic
was-
games.
Yeah,
Which
I
also
don't know. I don't know if I like that.
it was kind of shoehorned in.
Dailies
It's like
on a-
people do dailies, right?
dailies
Yes,
on a
Sonic
single
Team people
player.
do dailies on a single player game with no online battle mode or racing or anything. But I think they were I think they were trying to attract some new people, you know, because it was sort
Yeah.
of like it's a created character. People like a created character, and like they had this whole like super focus on it. And
They were probably more than just like attracting new players. They were probably trying to attract older Sonic fans that weren't really interested anymore because they
Yeah.
had every character in the franchise in this game, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Even like the boss or one of the bosses from Sonic Lost Worlds. It was like the first boss
and
fight,
they
right?
had Silver.
Yeah, they had Silver and Team Chaotix.
Yeah.
And,
You know, you guys are probably right. They were honestly
Right.
probably just trying to focus on regaining their fan base.
yeah. And building off all those characters, I don't know if I consider myself like a Sonic fan. Like, I don't know if I'm who they're trying to market with. But what I do wish was in the game was I wish you could play some of the other characters. And I know that goes against what Chris was saying, how it works with
Yeah,
the...
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Just where
think
do you
plot-
stop?
I
Yeah.
think that they needed to keep it with these three, and the created character was pivotal in that.
Yeah.
I think adding other characters would have damaged the game and made it even more difficult to follow. But for someone like you,
I do agree that adding more characters would make the create a character worse in general, right? Because the whole purpose of create a character is to make it like based around
Yeah,
the game.
It would
If there's a
flood
bunch
you.
of characters, then the character creator is kind of useless. It doesn't matter. It's,
You get
it's a
drowned
side
out.
thing, right? But yeah, I mean, like I've always played. Like I really like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 because there's a bunch of characters in that, right? Like I get to play fucking Big the Cat. It's fucking sick. I don't care if his levels are trash. You get to play as Big the Cat.
Froggy,
Fish for Froggy.
Froggy.
Yeah, I mean, and like in Sonic Heroes, there was the 4 teams that you got to choose from. That was cool, even if they all played the same.
Yeah, but
you
each
still
of those
got to-
had 3 characters in it, didn't
Yeah,
they?
there's 12 characters you could play in that game, technically.
But each of those was. I
It was,
feel like
there was 3 characters and 12 different skins, but
rough.
yeah.
I mean, in Sonic Adventure 2 as well, you had 2 teams.
Of 3, yeah.
Yeah,
I like that in Sonic games, but
It's
maybe I'm not the main Sonic audience.
it's like
right?
3 is a good number though because you don't have to remember too many mechanics, and
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
but it's not so little where you're just like doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think 3 was a pretty good choice. Granted, your character and Sonic were fairly similar, but I feel like there was enough of a difference where
Yeah, it would have been cooler if Sonic and your character had like more different levels, in my opinion.
yeah, it was,
I don't know how
Yeah.
exactly they would have made your character like play
Yeah,
different,
well,
but I would like it to be.
This is
honestly,
yeah.
I think
go ahead.
you definitely could have done it. I think you could have 2D Sonic, obviously be 2D Sonic, 3D Sonic be the mock segments, and I definitely think your character could have relied fully on Wispins, having a burnable environment or stuff where you needed to power things up with the electric Wispin, and maybe enabled you to switch Wispins mid-level, and then
One-
you could have
yeah.
used like those mechanics.
Yeah, and one thing that one of you two said at one point off all recordings was that you thought that the created character should have been a completely different style of level in that it is more open world, almost
Yeah.
like Sonic Boom. So we can bring Sonic Boom in. That was fully open world.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been pretty interesting.
And
right?
that would have been able to bring in those Wispin things that we were talking
Yeah.
about a little while back, was how each Wispin would open up a different segment of that level, adding to the replayability. You'd be able to go back and do challenges.
That actually would have been really cool because that also kind of appeals to the Sonic Adventure fans, right? Because Sonic Adventure is open world.
Yeah.
Like Sonic Adventure 1's open world. And the way Sonic Adventure 1 levels work is you're in the open world and you go to the level. It could have been like the same kind of deal in Sonic Forces, right? Where your character's in the open world and maybe there's some tasks in the open world to unlock, like Sonic levels, 3D or 2D. You know what I mean? And then you do those levels as those characters. Like, that would have been pretty interesting.
It would have been, but I just thought that then they wouldn't be able to go fast. You wouldn't be able to see their speed in the mock segments with Sonic.
Yeah, that's true.
You
I mean,
know.
maybe you could somehow do some fast segment in the open world. It'd be pretty
Maybe
hard,
I'm just thinking Sonic fans are a lot dumber than they actually are.
We need
Really?
yeah.
I need
let's
to stop.
respect these folks.
I love Sonic. When I used to play them, I have Sonic keychains. I have Sonic playing cards. I was obsessed with Sonic. I made my own Sonic OC.
Wow.
I did on the internet. No
I should've
backstory.
thought.
Yeah, those are
Did
dark
you ever
times.
fuse your corneas together so you could have one big eyeball?
He's wearing goggles. We
Yeah,
don't
they're
know.
not goggles.
But the thing is, like,
I loved Sonic 2 and Sonic also, and I have a bunch of Sonic plushes that I won at the local fair
Nice.
by playing games. So I'm in the same boat as Robin
Right.
here.
So
I mean, same, basically, right?
yeah,
I'm basically the same.
we all enjoy Sonic, so we're not like, we're not shitting on it. completely.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
maybe I'm just a shit fan.
But
That's
I do think in like simpler terms, in terms of like if your like they wanted to make your character on par with Sonic.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
they also made your character be in between the two. Whereas I was saying, like they should make him a third subject, a third mechanic or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead, he was just in between 2D and 3D.
Yeah.
Right.
But then how would you do that? Like kind of the sequences where I mean they could have shifted.
They would have
them
to
off.
change the whole game, essentially.
right.
Yeah.
But I think doing that would make the game completely better.
Yeah, I think it'd be really
I
interesting.
don't. If I'm being honest, I don't think that game was very good.
Yeah.
How dare you?
But I think it could have been made better if they had used the create a character in that other way. Like I just said, I think
Yeah.
if they had a different gimmick for that created character, but that would go against, or not go against, but it would be at the expense of having the created character be on par with Sonic, which is something that they were using to draw in people who had been disappointed with the series.
Even though it doesn't make sense
So it's-
because your character can't be as fast as Sonic because he's the fastest hedgehog alive. But oh wait, your character's a bird, so you're the fastest bird alive. Then, right? Is that
Yeah.
how that works?
Yeah.
Is that how they're
Yes.
getting around that? Unless you make a hedgehog.
Yeah, you
in
can't
which
be a
case,
hedgehog.
You can't be as fast as Sonic because he's the fastest. Maybe except for Shadow and Silver though, because it's no use.
Yeah, but they cheat with powers.
Shadow cheats with his
the
rollerblades.
skatey boots and
Well,
Silver.
he cheats with Zawaldo.
Yeah, chaos control.
And Silver's the bitch.
Again with that insult, that's all you got, huh? He cheats with telekinesis.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to what I said before about how, like, adding all of the characters in the game was trying to, like, pull in from the previous Sonic fans, right?
Yeah.
If they made, like, an open world segment, that would pull me into the game because I really want another open world Sonic game.
Yeah, but then how would you do that kind of weird the final boss segment when
Well, it can still
old
just be
Sonic,
that
new
boss.
Sonic, and your
It can still just
character-
be a level.
You could still
but,
have
but
that.
how do you I mean
You walk through an invisible door that triggers the level. Like in Sonic Adventure 1. Like, it's not, when I say open world, I don't mean like Jak and Daxter open world.
oh no I know
I mean,
But-
like, you walk physically to the level, and then you do a level. Basically.
Oh.
But there's also stuff in the open world
Yeah.
to do. Like in Sonic Adventure 1, you find power-ups in the open world. Right? Like, the light shoes are hidden in, like, a hotel lobby area. And you have to find them. And there's also, like, emblems and stuff that you find for collectibles in the open world.
yeah
And then there's the levels that are separate, which are, like, more traditional Sonic levels. You just walk to them instead of selecting them from the screen.
yeah that would have been really cool. That would have been very nice. And maybe you could interact with the background characters then.
Yeah.
So maybe you get a sort of a more of attachment than a picture in a box.
And then it can be like an RPG, and you earn personas
We're not
by
dude,
talking to Knuckles.
Does that mean
Dude,
can I date
you have S links for the rest of the cast. I would be so down for that, dude. Oh,
Can
that
you
would
imagine
be, that would be
JRPG
sick.
Sonic
Who's-
game? That'd be
and then
sick.
and then we could turn the supporting cast into like actual waifus.
Yeah.
and have like waifu wars, but like I
Like in
think,
Fire Emblem.
I think SPO is better than Rouge. Rouge is a shit tier waifu.
Charmy's all the way.
I'd always go for Charmy. He said
Cream
Charmy.
the rabbit.
Cream. No.
No, it's always
not doing
big. It's always big.
Big is the old.
Big's the waifu.
that.
Big's the big waifu.
Biggest waifu. So all in all, throughout
I think it was okay. Right.
Yeah, let's do one
Okay.
final. Let's get our opinions out there in isolated format.
for a Sonic game,
Well, first of all, what does that mean?
okay, based on past trends
Okay.
of the whole entire genre,
Okay.
I thought it was good. I thought it was smart. Level design was good. Mock segments were bad. 2D Sonic was but it was a smart game because you had the character creation. Attracted a lot of people. I thought it was very good. There was a ton of items that we didn't get. You had to play through it multiple times.
Yeah.
And the levels were fun. We had a good time playing it, and I think that's really kind of what matters in a Sonic game, especially like the newer ones. You want to have fun,
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
You
I
know?
said before, it was kind of supposed to be like a relaxing experience.
Yeah,
where you just have
exactly.
fun.
So I think all in all, it was a good game. I liked it. In the end, I really did. Would I go out and buy it for myself and play through it? Probably not. I mean,
Yeah,
like
it was $60, right? It was a
It was
full price
full
type.
price game.
full price game.
I would pay maybe like 30.
And we did get the DLC with 3 levels. Let's not forget that. Okay, we got our money's worth.
Yeah, because I bought it on day
It is
one.
true.
On day one. But I liked it, and I thought it was good, especially considering the recent Sonic games.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was alright. I think the best way to phrase my opinion on it is I appreciate what they tried doing, right? I appreciate that they tried putting in a lot of different throwback mechanics, like 2D, right? And they included a bunch of characters, side characters from other games. I appreciate that they made create a character. But as a whole, it wasn't amazing. They could have done better.
Oh well, no, it wasn't amazing. And they could,
Right.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the creator character was pretty good. I liked getting gear. I thought that was pretty cool. It would have been a little bit cooler if you could go after specific pieces of gear instead of it just feeling a little random. Although it might be, was it even random?
We'd have to play through it again to see if
It might not be random, right?
Yeah,
It was probably each level gave you certain gear.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe if it was a little more directed at what gear you could get. How about that?
Yeah.
That would have been a little cooler.
like finding gear in an open world, maybe.
Yeah, or literally finding the gear. That might be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the creator character was fine. I don't think it needs to be improved that much. It could have been better, but it was fine. But everything else was kind of like mid-tier, middle of the road.
Even for Sonic games.
Yeah.
Well, I guess when you're a big fan of Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
Sonic
had
Adventure
fun.
too.
I will agree with that. I had fun. I don't know if I'd have that much fun playing it by myself. Right?
Alone in a dark
Alone
room.
in a
with all the
dark
lights-
room.
With all the lights off.
My pants off.
Box of, box of
As you
tissues.
play Sonic games.
There's only one way.
Do you know the way?
We're not putting that shitty meme in this podcast.
Normie
It's a Sonic.
meme.
It's a Sonic.
It's not a
Oh,
Sonic
like
meme,
Knuckles, alright.
It's
Anyways, the fuck was I saying?
you're
Ugandan child. It was alright.
My opinion is I already said this. I didn't think it was very good. Thought that the levels were too samey, too linear, and it felt repetitive to play. However, seems like an easy platinum on my PS4. I think I'm gonna try it.
True. Yeah. I was thinking if I did own the game, like if I was the one that owned the game instead of you, I probably would have continued playing it and try to like 100% or something.
Yeah.
Because I've 100%ed Sonic Adventure 2 and I had a fun time doing that. I bet I'd have fun doing it on this game.
Yeah, and there were so many other things in there that we didn't talk about because they were so tertiary we didn't even touch them. Like, you have special missions called SOS missions where you have to one life the level to save another character. There's opportunities for you to borrow other people's characters to complete levels, and that affects your overall medal total. There's red rings for you to collect as a challenge, and those all lend to unlocking more gear and trophies, I guess, for the PlayStation. I didn't think the game was very good, but it seems like an easy platinum, so I would replay it. And I was actually thinking about doing that recently because I'm getting tired of all the other games I'm playing. So I may end up doing that. But I didn't think it was a good game. It made good content, but it wasn't a good game. So
It was entertaining for what it was, I guess.
it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think that it needed to be entertaining, or at least something that could keep attention. And it definitely kept attention, even though it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Even though you could push a button and look away for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
True. Okay, not 5 minutes, but you know.
That's how long the
Basically
level is.
5 minutes.
Is it a 5-minute level?
That's true, yeah. The rest of the level. One thing we didn't mention is, well, we mentioned slightly, but I did really like the art. Like, I didn't put that in my little, my summary there. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah,
And it sounded really cool. I really liked the music. I really liked the visuals.
I agree with that.
I loved the music.
Yeah.
It was the Infinite theme, super good. I'm not sure if they brought Crush 40 back for that. Because Crush 40
No, I
gets a lot of
think he was in something, wasn't he?
He might have been in part of it. He might have... No, they because it was Shadows. They brought Crush 40 back for the Shadow DLC. And they used Shadow's theme, because I remember we were playing Sonic Adventure 2, doing a Shadow level.
Yeah.
And you were like, I remember.
Well, yeah. They reused the, I think it's White Jungle is the level. they remastered that theme and put it in this game, which I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, right? It was a throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the songs were great. I would actually just like listen to the OST in my free time. Got me hyped.
I agree with that. I agree that the music was good. I still listen to the theme of Infinite because it's the coolest thing ever. I remember when I got the game day one, went home and immediately started playing.
Yeah.
So I'd at least do a little bit before we started recording, but like I got up to when Infinite is introduced and he gets his big like intro, his big reveal, and the song came on and I just stood up with my hands on my head and I was like, no way did they know? There's no way they knew that this is what we needed, you know?
This is what Sonic needs.
So like I think that they still have something in terms of the way that they can present.
Yeah.
It's like it's you can see the light through a crack in the darkness, I guess is the way I would describe it, to be poetic about it.
Yeah.
There are bits and pieces that I think stood out, like visually it was a good looking game and the music was good, but I think overall it was not a very good experience.
So really what we're looking for in the next game is sort
Just
of
a
a more open world Sonic with a base that you can go to with a jukebox where you can collect the music and then listen to it with a creative character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And JRPG elements.
And JRPG elements.
Where you can
And a fishing
where
level.
you can waifu Big the Cat.
Let me flirt with Big the Cat.
Please, Sega.
That's what I mean, going back a ways, one of the we didn't really know about the game before it came out, and we were saying how like create a character was like, oh wow, that's cool. That's one of the first things. They did release their soundtrack early, like prior to the game, and I listened to it then, and I was like, holy shit!
For all the hype.
Yeah, I was like, this is good. This is gonna be good. At least this is nice, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a good piece for Sega. Then they should release their soundtracks early for every game.
Yeah, maybe that was the whole
because their music and level
idea.
design is on point.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And then the rest of it, you could do better. I have faith.
You'll find your way.
You'll find your way.
Not quite up on the fridge yet. I know you can do it.
All they gotta do is follow me and set me free. Trust me, because you'll escape from the shitty games.
Shitty games.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the podcast today. You can check out the rest of our channel with the videos links. You can see the playlist for the Sonic games down below. Check out our other playlists as well. We've got more content coming up very soon, so stick around. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash that like button. Punch your computer screen. If we can get 10,000 likes, I'll take my shirt off.
You can't see it because
If we get 100,000 likes, I'll lay down on the floor.
I'll go to bed.
The mad lad. There's no way he'd do it.
Thank
All
you
right.
for joining us, everyone. We love you.
We love you guys. See ya.
Goodbye.